It's empty. Okay, three-way bin opened.
After a long summer break, the Dulux Trade British Rally Championship gets back into gear on Northern Ireland's Causeway Coast. And the Ulster Rally promises 2 days of first-class action.
Well, it's midpoint of the British Rally Championship and there's one man got a clear advantage. With 3 wins and a second place, that man's David Colgate. Well, David, it must feel really good to be sat here at midway point in the British Rally Championship, leading that and also having just picked up your 3rd Scottish title on the bounce.
It's great, you know, the season's went far better so far as I could ever imagine to be leading the British at the halfway point.
Who do you see as your biggest rival and why?
It'd be hard to pick one, but you know, Elfyn Evans is driving very well. He's obviously lying 2nd in the championship at this moment in time, so he's driving very hard. And Johnny's getting ever so quicker in the scorer, so you know, there's plenty of time.
This season in the British Rally Championship's going a lot better than 2009 when we last really saw you campaigning a full year there in the Mitsubishi Evo 10. Why do you think that didn't go well for you?
I think at the time, in the early development of the Evo 10, I don't think the car was capable of the results. So, you know, I feel I'm driving better this year. I've matured since then and I'm working with a team I know. And my co-driver Kevin's doing a very good job.
Middle over flat Tesco P100.
But ultimately, becoming a full-time rally driver is a goal.
Definitely is a goal. You know, I'd love to be driving on the world stage for a manufacturer.
Now, winning the British Rally Championship would go a long way to helping that goal, wouldn't it?
It would. You know, it'd be a dream year to go on and become British champion, to follow in the footsteps of Colin and Alistair. And, you know, it'd be a huge achievement, and you know, it's something I'm striving for.
But although David Bogey leads it, he's not safe yet because just 12 points behind on the 2nd tarmac event of the year is Elfyn Evans. So Elfyn, what hopes for this round?
I mean, everything is still obviously very new to us. Jim Clark was the first time we'd properly driven the car, so we were still learning quite a lot. But at the end of the day, this is going to be make or break, I think, in terms of the championship. So essentially, we are looking for the result here.
So Johnny, just 1 point behind Elfyn, 3rd in the championship. This is it, this event for you. It's make or break time.
Yeah, well, it's true. This is our answer home event too. So there's a lot of pressure on us this weekend. Obviously, last year, Craig in the Fiesta 2000, he had a really good result here, and you know, we have that to live up to as well. So we're just hoping that the weather stays dryish and we'll hopefully get a good run.
Autosport Technology dominated round 1, seeing Flange taking his and Estonia's first ever win. Mark Donnelly missed round 1, but on the Bulldog we saw the first of 2 titanic clashes between him and Martin McCormack. That gave them 1 win apiece on gravel.
100, 3 right Gloucester for 30.
And then on tarmac for the first time at the Jim Clark, Donnelly had a super special nightmare. Jesus. He wrecked his rear suspension and his chances at the title as McCormack took a dominant win.
Marty, it's been a really good fight all season through this Formula 2 battle, but you must have high expectations this weekend.
Well, it's always the same again, isn't it? It's your home rally, it's the big event, it's Ulster Rally. So yes, we have good expectations, but look, we're not going to let them cloud our judgment. We're here with a faster car than we had last year. We had a really good result here last year in the C2, but I think it's just, I feel more comfortable with the car, get more mileage in the car than I've had before on tarmac. So
it's going to be tricky with conditions tonight, with the rain and things. So we're just going to have that in mind and go out and see what way it falls.
The weather is changeable as we begin the first of day one, 6 stages and 50 stage miles. And this is the first of those stages. It's only 7.9 miles and it's dry now, but this is Ulster after all.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. 150.
David Bogey, championship leader. Objective this weekend to score a good haul of points. Got his faithful Evo 9, run by ProTech. Kevin Ray on the notes.
Yes, he's been super consistent all year. Hasn't been off the podium since the season began. 100% point scoring record out of that, of course. And the mission is just to keep it steady.
Might struggle against the S2000 of Johnny Greer and also the Formula 2 cars of Donnelly and Martin McCormack. There's the time.
Can you feel that hesitating there between the gears?
David, first stage out of the way, you happy with that?
It was okay. It was a good enough stage. You know, there's more time to be gained in there for the second pass, but just trying to keep it all under control.
Now here is Johnny Greer, third in the points. He's one behind Evans. More convincing title contender this year than he was last year when he was leading it by default.
Johnny's been picking up the pace all the way through. The Skoda has been upgraded to the latest evolution. They would like to build on his second place that he had on the Jim Clark rally.
There's someone who was fourth on the Jim Clark. This is Elfyn Evans, his second time on tarmac, and he should be sorted now, would you think?
It was a bit off the pace.
Off the pace.
Problem here for Evans. Puncture. Oh, he has to get out and change this. This is going to be time consuming, big time.
You can tell from the face that he's not happy, can't you? This is, as you say, going to just swallow time, isn't it?
Off to a bad start. Not good.
Opening stage of the rally and already in difficulties almost at the beginning of the stage. He's not got himself in the car properly, has he? You can see, look.
Just trying to get his hands device sorted out.
Elfyn, we hear disaster on the first stage. You had a puncture?
Yeah, nightmare. Just very early on, it's a change of wheels straight away, so not good.
This is Martin McCormack leading the Formula 2 battle.
On tarmac, this car, these conditions, odds-on favourite?
Well, it can certainly get the power down, and it's dry, which is really going to help it. Showed really good pace on the Jim Clark rally, especially towards the end of it.
We'll
on
find
home
out.
soil, look at that time, fastest.
Martin, we got you quickest in there so far.
Brilliant.
That's exactly what you hear at the end of the first stage.
Absolutely fantastic. We made a bit of a gamble with the tyre choice. It paid off. Brilliant start. Felt good in there, a few wee moments, but all in all felt good.
Mark Donnelly needs a bit of a result after the Jim Clark disaster, doesn't he?
Yeah, had a real nightmare on stage one. He wrecked that back end of the suspension.
We've seen some fantastic performances from him, especially after oversleeping, and he's got the hazards on now.
Yeah, and there's a car right behind him. He's dropped nearly a minute in there.
Okay, Mark, that sounds like you got a problem there. Down a cylinder.
Something like that there. We had problems before the stage started. It's just using up all the fuel, so we stopped and we got a penalty. And then when we got into the stage, within a couple of miles, there was just no power at all. Something's badly wrong. I don't know what it is. Some electrical problem.
This is Tommy Doyle, new to us, entered the Ulster Rally and made a last-minute decision to register for the British Series as well. Desi Henry, a slow start to the year for him. No points on the first couple of rounds, but he's adding to his tally on the next two, and perhaps on this one as well.
Callum Black, he had a strong start to the championship, but in the last couple of events, it hasn't gone to plan. 6th in the championship in Formula 2.
Drives hard, deserves a result.
Again, and 6 left, max 80.
Oh, heavy landing on that dip there.
Changeable conditions, greasy, slippery tarmac. That might have been drying by the time the two-wheel drive cars came through. That could be the shape that you're looking at now. And what you can't see in the bottom half of the top 10 is Elfyn Evans and Mark Donnelly, both down in the 30s somewhere after problems on the first stage. On to stage 2, Glen Dunn, a little bit longer at 9 miles, but otherwise this is the medicine as before.
A true classic stage running down through the Glen. David Bogey fires his Evo 9 off the line.
12 seconds behind the rally leader.
Looks dry at the start here.
And of course the rally leader is Marty McCormack. Conditions favouring the front drives a little, and
to left.
a concern over a possible misfire or hesitation for David Bogey. You can't hear it, can you?
No, just between the gears a slight hesitation. Says it's not really costing him much. He's 3.5 seconds behind Johnny Greer. That'll be the target.
No service until they get into Antrim at the end of stage 4, so it better be all right, otherwise he's in trouble.
Square left, shiny square left.
And here is Johnny Greer, 3 seconds ahead of David Bogey, and third on the championship leaderboard arriving here, of course.
First four-wheel drive car. Skoda's suspension working well. You can see the wheels kicking up into the wheel arches, keeping the chassis level.
Just a little bits of wet on the edge.
Yeah, quite damp down this section. It's a tricky bit of road, that high speed.
Elfyn Evans lost 2 minutes 45. He was P32 after stage 1. So this is pretty much a tarmac test weekend for him, and it maybe have to be his drop score for the season as well.
Yeah, second last in the event. Mikko Pajunen hit the same rock and he punctured, but he is last. It's fight back time.
Well, it's a big fight back, isn't it, from right down there. Rally leader, Marty McCormack.
Sounds good for Martin, doesn't it?
I tell you what, I bet David Bogey loves this, because while McCormack's up there in the top points paying position, all his rivals are being kept away from it.
Yeah, and David's got to try and get in front of Johnny Greer because that's one of his biggest rivals.
Donnelly now.
Yep, he had a nightmare. Lost 1 minute and 10 seconds to Martin McCormack with that electrical problem on stage 1. Another driver that's going to have to mount a comeback.
Tommy Doyle, second on the first stage, bit of a surprise package. Desi Henry again, third in Formula 2. He's running 5th overall, and it seems to be a bit of a Formula 2 bonanza this evening.
Damp patches under the trees down towards the end of this stage. Very difficult driving conditions. Callum Black, he's only 0.5 of a second behind Desi Henry. Get the slipper down, Callum.
And there are the slippers. This Suzuki is immaculate as always. And that third stage runs along the Causeway Coast past Torhead, the most spectacular stage on the Ulster Rally. Beautiful views in the sunset evening, but they won't have time for that, will they?
No, David Bogey, this is a roller coaster of a stage. Famous bit of road, rewards commitment.
And long one right.
Lost another 7 seconds to Johnny Greer on the previous stage. Still doing his best to stay out of trouble, and that is his mission this weekend.
No handbrake up through these hairpins.
He's done all the hard work, he said. Got his lead at the halfway point, and now he just wants to bring it home.
David, how was that for you?
A very difficult stage, you know. Just trying to keep it at a sensible pace without making mistakes. But we've got a wee hesitation in the car between gear changes, which isn't costing us a great deal of time, to be honest, but just more frustrating than anything. But we'll get a look at service and see what we can do.
Now this should be Johnny Greer's moment, shouldn't it, Robbie? Dry roads, tight and twisty, perfect for a car that's 2 adults lighter than the Mitsubishis and the Subarus.
Yeah, it's 250 kilos lighter. That obviously helps Johnny. Big on the handbrake there. He's only 0.6 of a second behind second place man Tommy Doyle.
Driving it like he means it again.
Johnny, big thumbs up there when you got to look at the times.
Yeah, well, I think of another 3 or 4 out of David there, so that's good. But I I'm hearing through the grapevine that Marty's on a bit of a charge, so we'll have to wait and see what he does.
Fastest on the last stage, but he only gained 2 seconds. It's going to be a long slog up towards the front of the leaderboard for Elfyn Evans, isn't it?
Yeah, no handbrake for Elfyn Evans up round these hairpins. Trying to keep the momentum. Marty McCormack, you can hear that turbocharged engine in the Citroen just popping a little. That's what it's meant to do. The anti-lag system spinning the turbo up.
Leader by 13 seconds.
Let's see how he handles this. No handbrake for
That was tight, wasn't it?
yeah, that's Alan Ring's Mitsubishi parked there. Lost a couple of seconds.
Martin, all good?
Yeah, we had a bit of a problem in there. The competitor that was running in front of us actually stopped on a narrow piece of road out of a hairpin. So I actually had a wall to get past him. We knocked over a bit of a stone wall, but we were okay.
Tommy Doyle is the man who's 13 seconds behind McCormack, and he might just have got a bit of it back. McCormack really minimised the loss there, didn't he? And McCormack still leads it, but Johnny Greer is coming on strong behind him now and closing in. It's all about two-wheel drive here, but what you can't see is Elfyn Evans up from 33rd to 24th. So it's been a dramatic start for some and a great start for others. We've got 3 drivers at the back fighting their way to the front, and we've got a real battle shaping up for the lead. Oh!
This is stage 5 and it is a repeat of stage 2. Elfyn Evans was quickest through here the first time through.
David Bogie starts this stage as the leader of the 4-wheel drive class. Johnny Greer had a problem and lost time, and Bogie's safe pair of hands policy is really starting to look very smart indeed.
No jump to 4 right.
We've just had a big shower, and as you can see, the roads are still wet in patches. This is very treacherous.
150 over flat crest.
First man on the road, David Bogie, looking committed. Round that right-hander. Back end just sliding wide there. The split is on. Let's see what the others can do.
A diff problem has cost Johnny Greer the best part of 30 seconds. Now he really needs it working on these wet roads. Is it back in action, or has he still got a problem? The stopwatch will tell us everything.
24 right and 4 left. 60 water maybe.
Johnny Greer in the S2000 car. I make him 3.8 seconds down at the moment. Johnny using a different technique there. He was using the handbrake on this tight corner, but slowing Bogie.
Elfyn Evans has been fastest on all the stages but one since he had his puncture. Even so, he's a lot slower through here than he was first time when it was dry, and we'll find out just how much difference all that rain has made when he gets to the end of the stage and the clock is stopped. You can see how hard he's having to work.
Next car, Elfyn Evans, and there's the time. It looks very quick. That's some time by Elfyn Evans, 23 seconds quicker than Bogie at the end of the stage here.
Back into two-wheel drive, this is Marty McCormack. Can he hang on to his lead in these conditions? Tommy Doyle is second, and then it's David Bogey. He's 26 seconds behind on wet roads. Four-wheel drive cars could make up a lot of time. Have a look and see it. Damp under the trees, little puddles here and there. Very tricky decisions for the driver to make. A lot of confidence in his tyres and his car. And Marty McCormack seems to have plenty of both.
Marty McCormack in the front wheel drive section.
And heading over the line, only beaten by Elfyn Evans. This is Tommy Doyle then, well down on McCormack, still second on our leaderboard, but just 5 seconds ahead of David Bogey. Working for grip with that front drive car.
Into 6 left.
Same applies here for Callum Black in Suzuki, fighting the steering all the time.
And 3 right late.
And all over the place here, big tank slapper, gathers it up. It is still starting to look like the result he wanted though. Here's the top 5 after 5. It's an interesting mix of 2 and 4 wheel drives for us to consider. And we're on to stage 6. It's the final one of the evening, a rerun of the fantastic tour ahead. Almost 8 miles on a now dampened cliffhanger. So these roads do dry quickly in the warm evening air.
Elfyn Evans won this stage the first time through on a time of 7 minutes 28.1. David Bogey third overall, 4.3 seconds behind Tommy Doyle. He was the third fastest car through here earlier.
He is the top 4-wheel drive at the moment there, and ahead of both his championship rivals, who have both had problems, Evans and Greer. So this could be a good ending to day 1 for him.
Exactly where he wants to be.
Nice and steady, and a plan in the process of coming together perhaps.
Stage is still quite damp there.
Okay, 150, gear 2 left, keep right over to
David Bogey is third overall, top 4-wheel drive car, and ahead of both his championship rivals who have both had problems, Evans and Greer. So it's a good ending to day 1 for him.
Into 2 left, tightens over flat crest, okay, and long one right, and very long one left.
Now we'll get a good look at this classic Ulster Rally stage. It's the one everyone talks about, and the onboard view from David Bogey's car as he takes it steady through here, remember. No risks, no charging for the lead. The onboard view will give you some impression of speeds.
60, double caution, 1 left, keep in over big crest, jump.
It's a popular place for locals and tourists to come for a Sunday drive here. You can't see the views, unfortunately, from this camera angle, but that's what brings the sightseers. For rally drivers, but not so much the co-drivers perhaps, it's the swooping switchback of a ride that gets their interest. Every kind of tarmac surface challenge in one stage, with massive long drops on the right-hand side.
Can't see the time being quicker than the second time through.
Johnny Greer still with problems on the last stage.
80 to 5 left plus short crest, 60.
Didn't drop too much time, but that car looks a bit unstable.
I don't know what. There's shaft as well. 6 right.
Yep.
100,
Johnny complaining, he thinks it's maybe a shaft that's broken. You can see the car stepping out. Hazards are on. How much time is this costing him? Good news for David Bogey, bad news for Johnny Greer.
See how much time it is costing him, can't you?
Yeah, you don't want an unstable car on these damp roads. Knocks your confidence big time.
40, press, 4 right plus.
And of course it
40.
also makes a dent
Left
in
minus
your
right,
times,
no press.
and that will be something that will please David Bogey, as you say. Elfyn Evans, no more problems for him. He's been banging in fast stage times and climbed a dozen places up the leaderboard. But he won't sleep peacefully tonight because he's going to do it all again tomorrow.
Yeah, but he's still got another 8 stages to try and pull back time. He's got the mileage, extracting all the performance from his Tech Sport Impreza.
Day 2 is the long one, over 70 miles, so there definitely is time and there definitely are miles. But how long can Elfyn Evans maintain this stage-winning pace without tripping himself up or making some kind of error? The technique is one thing, but the mental effort needed to keep everything sharp is also enormous. That's why most modern drivers in any discipline have to be athletes, and they use a variety of cross-training techniques to keep mind and body fit. And they do use all kinds of electronic devices for brain training as well. Lose the plot and start looking at the pretty butterflies and it's seconds lost. Or worse still, game over. The roads are drier here. He seems to be working the wheel less, and that means he's free to concentrate on car control rather than second guessing the road surface and the grip and saving big slides. The concentration is what it's all about. It's as wearing and sweaty as anything physical, and as we get to the end of the stage you can see it in his face and his body language. Big relax and start breathing again. Rally leader by 33 seconds. Martin McCormack hasn't had any problems and the wet roads seem to be suiting him rather well. It's dry-ish here, and another good look at the fabulous coastal scenery that he hasn't got time to admire.
Really good time on the previous stage considering it was wet. That front wheel drive car working well. He's obviously got a good setting on the suspension.
And as you say, he's confident, isn't he? He knows it's all working, and that does enable you to drive it as hard as it can be.
It's an absolutely awesome piece of road, this. Does reward commitment, a real driver stage. See Martin using every centimetre of the road, just keeping the car out to the left there for that slot right.
That's Tommy Doyle. Losing touch with the leader now, but still clinging on to a 5-second lead over David Bogey.
The 27-year-old, only been rallying for 4 years. First time in the British Rally Championship. He'll be delighted with second. Mark Donnelly, a man on a mission. Barry McNulty calling the notes. He's been down this road a few times with Keith Cronin.
I'll tell you what though, this is another one of Mark Donnelly's drives we're going to remember. He was P30 something, he's now P6 in Formula 2, and that is a comeback.
Yeah, you can see the sparks just coming out the wheel there, the carbon metallic brake pads blowing that disc.
Desi Henry just 6 seconds ahead of him, and he'll need to crank it up a bit if he wants to stay there.
Superb on board, really gives an impression of the speed in these roads. Slotting the car down through these bumps.
He is cranking it up, isn't he? Nice and narrow, but he's right on it.
He's got his lamp pod on already, cautious approach. That'll actually cost him time because it adds some extra drag to the front of the car.
Left chevron and leftish
Alan
of a long
Black,
crest.
38 seconds ahead of Desi Henry.
Third in Formula 2, but he's got Jussi Kumpimäki behind him. Look at the difference in the road position here compared to Martin McCormack. Martin was right over to the right hand side as we look at it.
This is Jussi Kumpimäki. We haven't seen much of him. He's fourth in Formula 2, just splitting up Callum Black and Desi Henry.
Yeah, the Finnish driver, it's his first visit to Ireland, more of a gravel specialist, but going really well.
These are the top 5 positions at the end of a tough day, especially for Johnny Greer. He's had a hard one with transmission problems. And it hasn't been much fun for Mark Donnelly and Elfyn Evans, but just look at where they both are now. It must have been hard work, but good fun for our 3 comeback kings, and they'll have a much longer crack at it again tomorrow. We're just about to start a long second day on the Ulster Rally, and what everybody is wondering is whether or not Marty McCormack can hang on to the very impressive lead he built up last night, or whether a couple of decent service intervals around the overnight halt will put the people we expected to be battling at the front back in the fight. In particular, we expected Johnny Greer to be giving him grief in the Skoda S2000, but transmission troubles when he was challenging from P2 kept McCormack safe. And this is that big second day, all 77 miles of it, a good opportunity to play catch-up. And here's the man who was doing that most of yesterday, Alvin Evans, along with Mark Donnelly and Mikko Pajunen. Stage 7 was Langford, an 8 AM start after a near midnight finish, and now we're on to Tardree, stage 8. It's almost 9 miles long.
60.
On board
left,
here
460,
with
narrows
rally
at the
leader
exit.
Marty
And the
McCormack
flat right
starting
long,
hard.
flat right long.
31-second advantage. Whoa, bit of a
40,
moment there,
one left
but
of
a
dip,
good
40 over
save.
junction, 2 minus a
He
40.
needs to maintain the gap today. He doesn't need to extend it, but concentration is going to be key.
Flat to
Well,
right,
he wasn't
opens long.
showing any mercy, was he?
Flat to right, opens long.
And this is Tommy Doyle, had a mega day yesterday in the lanes around the northwest of Ulster. Starts day 2 like he means it just as much.
Yeah, the back end just swinging around a little bit. Quite nervous on the bumps. Oh, look at he's not scared of it, is he?
Don't go out.
Third overall, David Bogey in
square
cruise
right,
control
slow
mode, but
gravel.
even that's pretty damn quick when you watch it from the outside.
Yeah. I'm sure he would rather be 2 positions higher, but the strategy is working with Johnny and Elfin Evans behind
right,
him.
don't cut.
Callum
Four
Black,
left long,
fourth,
don't
a good
cut.
overnight position for him.
Yeah, look at
And-
these damp roads here. Whoa, whoa,
Ow.
Tight. Mr. Tree Boy, good boy.
he's in the
Try to get
hedge,
back now then.
big time. It's not coming out, is it?
Right. Don't panic now, just steady now. Try cut forward.
Let's take a look at that again. You can see the wet and greasiness. The car just starts to understeer, then the back end gets away, has to correct it, but it drags him into the hedge, and it's game over for Callum Black.
Long 4 right.
On board with Mark Donnelly.
Long 4 right, on 3
Out of
left,
the
half
car
long.
and just
60.
okay, so they're definitely out. Donnelly is 7th after a nightmare on stage 1, and he knows he can make a recovery, doesn't he?
Yeah, he dropped over a minute, but they've got a lot of stage mileage today, 8 stages to pull it all back. Johnny Greer wagging the tail of that S2000 4-wheel drive Fabia.
Well, he'll be hoping for a recovery as well. He was challenging from the lead in 2nd place, and now he's in 5th place after transmission problems, chasing to catch up. All fixed now, though, isn't it?
Yeah. You see Kumpamaki really leaning on the tyres, and look at those discs glowing red hot. Scandinavian drivers adopt left foot braking, as do most drivers. That punishes the brake discs.
Well, Alvin Evans was 8th at the end of a day which started in P32. That's a performance he can really be pleased with, though he would rather be higher, wouldn't he?
Second fastest on the first stage this morning. He continues his fight back, but can he catch Johnny Greer? That's the question. Let's see. Desi Henry 9th overall, but up to 8th after the first stage. That car looks a bit soft just in the braking there.
Doing well over the bumps.
Just hear the gravel flicking up in the wheel arches.
And one place promotion introduces us to Alan Carmichael. We haven't seen him before, rounding out the top 10 in his Evo 10. Here are the positions post CB after Callum Black, with McCormack clear of Tommy Doyle, Bergie 3rd and Greer 4th, Evans right behind, homing in. But they'll have to do quite a lot of homing, because right now this man's got the Ulster Rally Midas touch. He can't put a foot wrong.
How's it all going?
Yeah, it's going well. We probably were a little bit hard with our tyre choice for the first stage and also with car setup, but we made a few slight adjustments just before the start of the second stage, and it worked well. But we seem to have a slight a misfire problem just when you brake and slow for like a square right, and you go to accelerate out of it, we seem to have a slight cut, and also the car stopped dead between the two stages on us on the road section. But we're quite lucky that it's been minimal, and hopefully now the guys can get to the bottom of it.
David, it looks like you're having your fuel tested there this morning.
Aye, that's it, just checking there's no dodgy business going on, so we've got nothing to worry about.
How's it gone this morning?
It's been very difficult, you know, in the short service we had before going out this morning we found some play in the rear wheel, and we think that's led to having 2 spins in 2 stages, so it's cost us a bit of time, you know, and just trying to keep out of trouble. You know, I don't want to be racing these other guys, I need to maintain a position.
People with problems have given us some tremendous performances as they fought back, but Marty McCormack has led this rally from the start, and this is the giant killing act everyone's going to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah, he's very composed, very focused. He's getting the best out that Citroen. Remember, it is 2-wheel drive, but the performance is fantastic.
McCormack looks unstoppable, but it's easy for a small drama to send you to the back of the leaderboard, and anything can happen in the next few stages.
40, one left over dip, 40 over dip.
Oh! It's day 2 of the Ulster Rally, and although several front runners have had problems, Marty McCormack really has earned the lead, and now all he's got to do is keep it.
Flat 2 right.
There's been a whole list of people who've got if-only stories from this rally, but I think the biggest if-only belongs to this man, because but for a puncture within yards of the start of this event, this could have been an entirely different story, couldn't it?
Yeah, but that's the way that rallying has some twists and turns. It's never simple, and that puncture was very costly for Elfyn Evans, but he has dialed a lot of speed out of that Impreza, and he must be very happy with his performance.
Sometimes adversity creates something good, and I think you can definitely say that's what's happened to Elfyn Evans today. And just have a look at the leaderboard after stage 11. He has just won back 20-something places, but Johnny Greer could be a place too far. So we go on to stage 12, another run through Tardree with a service halt before the final group of stages which are today. Marty McCormack really proving the point now that the 2-wheel drive cars are in their moment, and that moment appears to be now. 22 miles into stages, are all left after this, and you can see he's finally got the weather on his side as well. And it's a day for making heroes here in Ulster, and there's no question that Tommy Doyle has earned his citation in the Roll of Honour.
Then 40 to square right, small gravel ruts.
David Bogie isn't going to catch the 2-wheel drive pair ahead of him, but they are no threat to the championship, so he probably doesn't mind too much. And looking at the time sheet, there's no way he's going to be caught by Johnny Greer either, unless he makes a mistake. That's what he's trying not to do. Elfyn Evans isn't going to catch Johnny Greer, and he probably hates that, because it means they will swap championship positions, 2nd and 3rd. His consolation prize, such as it is, will be this superb and faultless recovery drive. Spectators lining the route now, being treated to an excellent display by Elfyn Evans, nearly a bit closer than they were hoping for. The unmistakable sound of Johnny Greer's Skoda, 4th place, should have been 2nd, could have been who knows, and he'll be regretting the missed possibilities. There is no doubt to that. That, as they say, is rally. No change in the leaderboard here, good news for some, not so good for others. But the longest stage of the rally is still ahead, all 15 miles of it.
So Martin, it's all going your own way at the moment, but you've got this difficult afternoon to get through.
To be quite honest with you, I think it's important to keep a good pace up and keep the mind focused and make sure everything works in a good rhythm and try and just get through it.
And that's pretty much what he's just been doing, and now he's got to do it twice more for 15 miles and then 7 after this. He's not made a mistake that we've seen. He rather neatly got himself out of trouble when there was a stationary car in the middle of the road, and he's been consistently sharing fast times with Elfyn Evans. This is a first-class performance from Martin McCormack. And so too Tommy Doyle. He's wrung this Clio by its neck on every stage and in all kinds of weather conditions, and second place is a just reward for all those efforts. David Bogie has done one of the hardest things you can do in a rally car. He stayed off maximum and let everyone else set the pace and have their problems. And it is so easy to get it wrong when you're not giving it 100%. It's so easy to make the mistake that you are trying to avoid. But he came here with a plan, he stuck to it, and he's made it work. Elfyn Evans has been going 100%, but he'll get little reward other than saving what could have been a championship disaster. Johnny Greer can't do any more than he's done to save his situation, but he will be second in the points. And what a shame, we've missed a lot of Mark Donnelly's return from P30 something to P7. We've seen some drives from him this year already, and this was another one. No mistakes on the last two stages. It's victory for Marty McCormack.
2 left of a crest, sudden free right, repeat sudden free right, 200, 4 left, yes boy! Well done, man. Great job, man. Great job.
Here's the final leaderboard, and it hasn't changed much during the day. It's been fought over for every one of today's 77 stage miles, and not just by the guys at the front of it either. There's been a lot going on further down the field. And for the first time in its inaugural season, the story of the Formula 2 battle has also been the story of the overall leaderboard, and it hasn't just been about Marty McCormack. We've seen some great drives behind him, but he has increased his lead in the championship.
Martin, you've always got a smile on your face, but your smile is a lot broader than it normally is. Congratulations on your first place win.
Thanks very much. It's just been, picture perfect weekend for us. Absolutely fantastic. We came off the first stage and you told us that we were fastest, and we just couldn't believe it. We thought it was great. We knew the pace was there, that we could do it, but we thought that the wet conditions on Friday evening might cost us more time, but we kept our head down with a good push, and throughout yesterday and today it's just went really, really well for us.
David Bogie's done the job he came here to do. He stays top of the table, and all his rivals had problems. He couldn't really have asked for more.
So David, third, exactly where you needed to be. One hand is firmly on that trophy now.
Yeah, it's great for the championship. We were desperate to come away with a podium result, so we kind of stuck to the game plan. We weren't fighting at the sharp end, but still very happy and good for the championship.
And Tommy Doyle gets another bonus.
Tommy, great drive, fantastic result, but an even better prize once you come over the podium. How does that feel?
Thank you. Never expected it. All last week when we were preparing, testing everything, we hoped to be competitive with Marty in the class maybe, but never to be on the podium to fight overall wise, and then to pick up this obviously is a bigger bonus.
And an unseen hero drive from Mikko Pajunen helped keep Autosport Technology top of the team's points table. Callum Black unlucky again after looking so good and running so well. Next time out, we're back on gravel in Yorkshire.
70, clear, three-way keep in, opens,